Well, hello, everybody. Let me get my phone straight there. I hope you are all doing great and you're in the middle of a fantastic week. I sure am. I'm having a great time. My brother is in from Iowa. The weather's been good, but I have to admit it's been hot. Not my favorite type of weather when it's hitting 100 degrees, but I will take it. I will take it because life is good. So my name is Colleen Magness, and if you're watching this, you are either watching my Facebook Live or you are watching it from YouTube, and I appreciate you being here so much. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator on the East Coast of Virginia, and everything I do is creating with Colleen. So whether you want to check out my blog, my YouTube page, this Facebook page, you are creating with Colleen, and I appreciate you being here. So today, I am going to share a fun technique with you. It was one of my most favorite techniques because it's kind of like magic when you do it. Basically, when I stamp this, it will be clear, but then we have something called our wonderful Stampin' Pastels, Soft Pastels. So this is the card I'm going to share with you and the technique, but we have a little bit of business to take care of first. So let me see. Sandy said it's hot in St. Louis. Sandy, it is hot everywhere. Hey, Gwen, I'm glad you are here. Now, I got to tell you, in my stamp room, when we renovated our house, my stamp room actually is the upstairs. So the whole upstairs is mine, but it follows the roof because this would have been the attic, but we converted it into my stamp room. So when it gets, 94, 92, actually 90 and above, it runs about... start losing the air at 77, and it'll run around 82 degrees up here in the afternoon. Then it cools off. We have our own unit here, but it just can't keep up. So it's crazy out there. That's all I can tell you, but I'm glad you're with me. It's nice and cool right now, so we're going to create. So good morning, Doris. And again, I hope you all can stay cool where you are. Hello, Julie. I'm glad you're here. So as you know, every week, I take the card that I create, and if you share my Facebook page, leave a comment on YouTube, any of those things, follow me, just try to help me get out there a little bit in social media, then you will have your name put into a drawing for a card. So Tracy Carter is the winner of last week's card when I demonstrated the Happy Hippos, which is a celebration free set that you can get. So Tracy, if you will private message me your address, I will be more than happy to drop this cute little hippo card in the mail for you. So congratulations, Tracy Carter. So the card that I'll be mailing out next week, again, this is a technique called Poppin Pastels. Now y'all already know I love the Soft Seedlings stamp set. This is what it looks like. Soft Seedlings. It's this beautiful, distinctive stamping leaf with this little, what do we call them? Helicopters. I think that's what we decided they were. And then some beautiful sentiments in here. So this does not have dies or anything that goes with it, but it lends itself to a whole host of techniques you can do. So in past videos, I did this, which was just a coloring technique where you just blend the different colors on the stamp and stamp with it. And I've also shared how to do the emboss resist, where you emboss your leaves first, stamp and sponge on it. So I have videos on both of these that if you really like them, you can check them out. And I've given these cards away too. But today we are going to use, again, it's called Poppin Pastels. So you might have missed this, and I totally get it if you do. But on page 126 of the annual catalog, right here, we have what's called Soft Pastels. And it's an assortment of 8 chalk colors, pastel colors. It is only $9. So I think it's a great deal for what you get. It comes in a box like this, Soft Pastels. And then when you take them out, you have these beautiful chalks in these colors. Lots of techniques you can do with chalks. Poppin Pastels is my favorite, so that's what I'm going to show you. But this is really nice to have in your arsenal of stamping equipment. So if you don't have it, consider purchasing those. So again, this is a card. I'll give you all the measurements, and I already have a picture taken, so I will post them on my Facebook page when we are done. Let me see if I can get into view here. Try to keep it, okay, so I can see what I'm doing and try to see comments too. Doing two things at once. We'll see how that goes. So today is July 20th. Crazy that it is. But again, I hope you're in the middle of a great week. So what you're going to need to create this card, you are going to need one sheet of Coastal Cabana that is 8.5 by 5.5, and you're going to score it at 4 1/4. Then you're going to need another piece of Coastal Cabana that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And you are going to emboss that with the leaf fall folder, which I'll do because I want to show you a little trick with it. But with this folder, you really cannot see it in the catalog. And that's so sad because I'm afraid people will miss out. This is what it looks like in the catalog. So it's not a great representation. And I'm sure it's really hard to show a clear folder in a catalog. I get that. But this is a picture of it. I knew it would coordinate with the Soft Seedlings stamp set, so I just went ahead and got it. But it is absolutely gorgeous. It's just these leaves that are falling down your paper, so make sure you grab this folder too. But that's what you're going to use for this 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of Coastal Cabana. For the inside, you need a piece of 5 by 3 3/4 basic white. You need a 2 3/4 by 3 1/2 piece of shimmery white. And this is the backing. And so you know me, I'm not afraid of fractions. So I actually cut this 2 15/16 by 3 11/16. Now, if you don't want to get that technical, just cut it 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches because it's only a 1/16 inch larger. But when I did my card, I didn't want the typical 1/4 inch border all the way around. I wanted it to be just a little bit tighter than that. So that's why I use those dimensions. These dimensions work just as well. And I did this with the new In Color Starry Sky. So these are just all the pieces that you're going to need. So first what I will do, I'll do the technique part first, and then I'll show you the embossing folder and different things. So again, I'm using shimmery white because I wanted an extra shimmer, but your basic white cardstock is going to work just as well too. One of the things I did that helps a little bit is we have an embossing buddy. I did emboss this just a little bit. I do this, or rub it I should say. I do this when I heat emboss. And the reason you would use this, it's like a pounce pad that we used to use when we were drafting. It just puts a light powder over your paper. So when you stamp with Versamark, that's your wet ink, and then that's where your powder or your chalks are going to stick to a little bit better and not as much on the background. And with this card, I don't know that it's technical because even when it's a little hazy around the leaf, it's beautiful. So what I'll do, I already have done that. I just have a clear block, and I'm going to take 3 colors of the Stampin' Pastels. I'm going to take the, let me see right here, the Granny Apple Green. I want to use their colors because you know me, I would just say green, turquoise, blue, but that's not it. We are using the Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green, and Night of Navy. That's what they're calling these 3 colors. So they're just little sticks of chalk. I'll pull them out, and then y'all know I love my pick a tool right here. This little guy right here has so many different things, from the gummy on this end to pick up little things and help you with your rhinestones, paper piercer, and if you open this and flip it around, it's like you have this little spatula. And this is good. Say, for example, if you have something stuck together and you want to get underneath here and break the tape between the two, it's also great for scraping these chalks. So I'm just going to take the Night of Navy, and I'm scraping this. Just make a little pile of my Night of Navy. I'm going to do a little pile of my Granny Apple Green and another little pile of my Coastal Cabana. That's all I need. So I'm using the Versamark. I'm going to take my Versamark ink. Hey, Joanne has popped on. Hey, Joanne, I'm glad you can make it. We're doing Poppin Pastels today. So I'm just stamping with my Versamark, and Versamark is very, very versatile. Can make a watermark image. It's great for embossing. It is great for Poppin Pastels. And I hope this is in there because, man, it's white on white, and it's not right in front of me. Normally I hover over before I stamp. So I just stamped my Versamark on here, and you kind of don't see it. You know, you might see a little bit of a shimmer, but then I'm going to take my sponge dauber. So I'm starting with the Granny Apple Green first, and I'm just going to come in here and try to just stamp on the stems. It's a little bit hard to see. There we go. So here I have my stems, and I'm also going to stamp up in this this beautiful leaf just a little bit. Okay. Next, I'm going to take a sponge dauber from my Coastal Cabana and just dab this where some of that Versamark is. And you can see how it's starting to pop. Hence why it got its names, Poppin Pastel. You can see my leaf coming to life here. Like that. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of that Night of Navy to just kind of touch up the tips. Bring in just a little bit more depth. And that, my friends, that's your technique. That's how easy it is. So I'll put this aside. And again, I can just take a brush and brush some of this off. And I don't mind that little bit of haze around it. But if you do, since that's on dry area, I just have a gum eraser, which is my best friend whenever I'm stamping. Because again, this is dry, so I can just clean around the image just a little bit. Or if I, do pencil marks on something, let me get a little more right there. Get the dark. I hit my leaf. Okay. That, in a nutshell, is your Poppin Pastels. So I'm going to take this, and one of the other things I like to do, now Stampin' Up used to sell this, and sadly they don't anymore, but it was made by Sunoco. I think I'm totally butchering that name, but what's new? But it's a champagne shimmer paint. And so we like to take the champagne, put it in a bottle with just some 70% alcohol. If you want your lower content, you just shake that up and just give it a quick spray. And I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. And the reason I do, because now it has this real pretty shimmer, and it's kind of sealed those pastels. So I'm just going to put that aside while I now do the embossing folder. So again, this embossing folder is absolutely amazing. It's beautiful the way it comes down. And when you put your cardstock in here, let me find my cardstock. I got something everywhere. The way they show it, you can slide it up in here. Take that off. But there's a little bit, a lack of the leaves up here. So feel free to turn this any way you want. When I have it like this, you just make sure that you're not sticking out your two edges, because it's going to have to slide through your die cutting machine. But what you'll do is just pop it in here. Do that again where I want it, because you can see where you want your leaves. I got all that right there. Then I'll close it. I'm going to stand up so I'll sound different. But you're just going to take your die cutting machine. You're going to use your #1 base plate. And for a 3D folder, you do have to use the #4 plate, and that is sold separately. It doesn't come with the machine, but it's just the right thickness to use with your 3D folders. So I'm putting it in with the folded edge first. Put this through, and then you just want to make sure it's nice and straight, and it just cranks so easily through. It's like butter. So then when I take this out, I have these gorgeous, gorgeous leaves. Now, when I was first doing this card, I actually thought of doing different colors. you know, just so that you would really see. Let me fold this here. You know, 2 coordinating colors. I love to use Bermuda Bay and Coastal Cabana together, but sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, it's really pretty just to put the same color on the same color. You still see that layer. I see people do this a lot with white, but I just thought it looked really good with this because I want that leaf to be my focal point. I love my folder, but it's not about the folder today. It is about the leaves in that Poppin Pastel. So I'll put this on here. Then I will take my Poppin Pastel and I will, come on. It's not gripping there. There we go. Make sure when you do this, I need to curl my hand more. That's how this really works because it's a very strong adhesive. This is our Stampin' Seal. It is great and it is strong, but you have to kind of keep wrapping that adhesive over the edge. Now, if it's slick and it's not there, do like I do. Just push that little roller, but when you put it down and pull, make sure your wrist is going like this because it's pulling it around. It's one of those adhesives that we always talk about that will be your best friend or your worst enemy. I do love it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I absolutely love it because it's very strong. So here we have this part of the card. I'm gonna take some dimensionals, put it on here. Oops, just the label there. Pull these off, throw them on the floor. That's how I mark how productive I am in a given day. And then I will just put this on the front, like such. So for my inside, I want to, of course, stamp that leaf again. So to clean it, I am going to use, this is just designer paper that I put in here. We actually had, this thing is really, gosh, it needs a cleaning. But we were going on a Stampin' Up event in Florida. So I found this paper and put it in here. But it is great to keep your chamois in here. This chamois is the best tool, even though mine looks horrible. Somebody had actually asked, how long does it last? Mine's still going just fine. I rinse it with water and put it right back in here. Looks horrible, cleans your stamps like nothing else. It's great. What color is the paper? Joanne asked. Joanne, this is Coastal Cabana, and this is Starry Night, the new ink color. Those are the two that I'm using. So you just rub this on here and voila, totally clean. Much better than the older cleaning pads we had. They were kind of like velour, like a velvet. But what happened was the ink really got in those pads and you could wash them, but this just absorbs the ink. So it keeps everything crystal clear. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take my Coastal Cabana. Hey, Edith, I'm glad you're here, darling. So, and I haven't done this yet, so hopefully it goes good. I have got a juicy, juicy Coastal Cabana. I can see it. Then I'm going to take that Starry Night, Starry Sky, excuse me. Starry Night. No, it's Starry Sky. And I'm just going to come in here, dab it on a couple of the tips, and we'll see what we get. It's always a surprise in the stamp room. And y'all know I'll tell you over and over again. I'll teach you what to do. I may teach you what not to do, but I promise to teach you something. So I will just huff this and just kind of put it on the top here. Hopefully I had enough blue on there. There you go. Now it matches my, pretty much my leaf on the front, like there. So I'll just take my adhesive, put this on the inside, like so. And I left this card blank intentionally because sometimes you just need a blank card to send to someone. Now something else I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the better looking one, this one here. I didn't smear it with my finger on the side. Sit tight, I'm gonna go grab some little gems real quick to put on there. I should have done that right from the start. That's okay, I can do it now. So here I have some iridescent pearls, basic jewels. I think the champagne jewels that we have are fantastic. I like that more with my golds and my natural colors, but these little iridescent pearls are really cute too. So going back to my Pick-a tool with that gummy part, it's so nice because it will pick up these pearls. So I think I'll do a larger one down here and then put those at top. And that, my friends, so if you can see that, that is Poppin Pastels. Very simple. You saw how quick this part of the technique was. You could knock out a bunch of these, emboss your cards, and again, the nice thing is, you actually have a blank card. You can stamp a sentiment inside or put one on the front, and you're good to go when you need a card. Because you don't always have time. That's my one I didn't stamp on the inside. That one I did, and I really like that. So now I hope I taught you a new technique. Y'all tell me, who has seen this technique before? Put a shout out. This one, it's like a blast from the past. It was from years ago. And I had the pastels and I just thought, you know what? I have got to use these. You can do watercolor with pastels. You can actually just plain color with them, or you can do like I do, shade the sides and use it as a powder. So thank you, Becky. I appreciate your comments. Let me see if I can scroll through here. So hopefully I taught you something new. I have actually, so Gwen has not seen it. Thank you so much for sharing it. You are welcome, Gwen. I used to do a lot of technique classes, and I'm finding I need to revisit them again because, you know, even if you did know them, just as Becky just said, she has seen it before, but it's a great reminder to do it again. And so has Sandy. She hasn't done it in ages. So I really think it's good to go back and revisit things too. And Joanne loves her pastels. She knows how versatile they are. So if you need to order pastels or anything else, I would love for you to go to my blog, Creating with Colleen, and you can shop from there. This is the host code for this month that we have going on. And if you have any questions at all, please send me a private message or contact me. I am always here to help you with anything you need, not just ordering. If you have questions on the projects, please like my YouTube page. If you share this, say you shared, and I will draw somebody's name to receive this card next week. So wow, 23 minutes. That was a quick lunch. Wow, we should do a second card. If I had it prepped, I would. So anyways, thank you again. I will see you next Wednesday. And who knows? I still, I'm doing this as a technique class. I may share another one of the techniques that we're doing. Because again, I think the techniques for this soft seedling stamp set, I think it's just absolutely nice if I get my card straight. I think it's just, absolutely endless what you can do. So Janet, thanks for popping on. Go back and watch from the beginning. Thank you, Becky, for sharing. I appreciate you so much. You guys are awesome. And thank you for being here. I always look forward to my Wednesdays, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, celebration is still on, goes through the end of August. And golly day, I just wish you a happy day. May God bless you all, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.